Hello there! In this video tutorial, I will be teaching you the basics of naming ionic compounds. I am Ain Liwanag, and welcome to this tutorial session. The science of naming chemical species is known as chemical nomenclature, whether it's an element or a compound. But why is there a need to have a system for naming compounds? Just like there is a system for naming organisms through the binomial nomenclature, where you call species by scientific name, and we also have a system for chemical species using chemical nomenclature. As a scientific name tells us about the genus and species, and sometimes even the variety of a particular organism, chemical nomenclature involves chemical formula and chemical name of the chemical species. It is important to establish the rules for systematic naming and to ensure a common understanding regardless of location. Okay, now to have this system, there should be a governing body that recognizes and authorizes rules and policies related to this system, such as the rules for naming compounds and elements. The governing body is known as the IUPAC, or the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. But before we dive into the rules of chemical nomenclature, let me share with you how my name came about. My maiden name is Ronaldine A. Narido. Ronaldine is quite unique, yes. In fact, I only waited a few minutes for the NBI to issue me a clearance because I do not share this name with anyone in the country. As a matter of fact, when you Google my name, Ronaldine, Google's first page will direct you to pages that confirm my identity. From school website, research sites, and social media, they are all mine. So, Ronaldine. This was given to me by my parents, like many Filipino parents do. Ro comes from Rodolfo, my dad, and Na from his family name Narito. And Dane is a variation of my mom's jumbled name Edna. And voila, Ronaldine was born. Now, this is not just a simple commercial because later I hope you will see the system that is used in naming me in naming chemical species. This puts together the parent's name to the resulting compounds, which we will later discuss further. For this course, we divide chemical nomenclature in 4 lessons. For this semester, we will study inorganic compounds first. One lesson focuses on ionic compounds and another on covalent compounds. And the next semester, we will have organic compounds. One lesson is dedicated for carbon bonding and functional groups, and another lesson is on naming organic compounds. Okay, to begin our lesson, let us first distinguish between ionic bonding and covalent bonding. This is important because there are different rules in naming ionic compounds and covalent compounds. Recall that ionic bonds occur between a metal and a non-metal, where electron is transferred from the cation to the anion, whereas covalent bond is between non-metals that share electrons. Examples of ionic compounds are NaCl, KOH, and NH4F. Notice that the symbols of blue color are metals, which on the periodic table are the blue tiles, positioned on the left side of the ladder, which are the metalloids. Later, I will explain why some ionic compounds like KOH and NH4F are considered ionic compounds. Examples of covalent compounds are O2, which is a diatomic oxygen, also a compound. Again, nonmetals are the red tiles in the periodic table, including hydrogen. Other examples of covalent compounds are PCl5, which is an expanded octet, OH-, which is a polyatomic ion, and CH3OH, an organic compound which we will later name in the second semester. In this lesson, we will use several periodic table because there are different rules for group A elements, the highlighted tiles, and for transition metals, again, the highlighted tiles. This tutorial on ionic bond is on a sectional basis. Part 1 on binary ionic compounds for group A elements, and part 2 is on transition metals. Then part 3 will discuss ternary compounds including polyatomic cations and anions, cation and polyatomic anions, and polyatomic ions.